Oh, we're looking at code head. Is it time to leave your dev job? Let's lock in.
Know that feeling when you wake up on a Monday and your first thought is calculating how many days until Friday? Yeah, I lived that for 18 months straight at my second dev job. I kept telling myself I was just being soft, that every job has rough patches. But here's what nobody tells you there's a massive difference between a challenging sprint and a situation that's actively destroying your growth. If you've
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is something that everybody who doesn't have their first job needs to hear. Watch this video with a grain of salt. If you could somehow manage to land a job in the industry right now, don't give it up because of a video you watch and someone who has experience in the field is able to make that decision and you can't. Get your foot in the door, get some experience, suck it up, earn your stripes, you know what I mean? And then move on when the time comes. Don't force your hands, but there's just certain things in life you're just gonna have to deal with though.
You've been Googling, should I quit my job at 2 a.m.? This video will give you the actual framework to make that decision instead of just spiraling. I've quit 3 dev jobs in my career. One too early, cost me a promotion I would have gotten in 2 months. One too late, stayed 18 months past my expiration date, and it tanked my mental health. But the last one, it was perfectly timed and it doubled my salary. Most career advice tells you to quit when you're unhappy. That's actually terrible advice because you'll be unhappy sometimes at literally every job. Instead, ask yourself this: am I learning, earning, or building equity? If the answer is none of the above for 6 months straight, that's your signal. There's a huge difference between this is hard and this is harmful. Hard is wrestling with a complex legacy codebase at 8 p.m. Harmful is working 50-hour weeks with zero recognition because your boss decided to take more work than the team could handle. So yeah, let me break down the 5 red flags you need to look out for. Red flag number 1, the learning flatline. Here's the test. Look at your last 6 months of work. Did you use any technology, pattern, or skill you didn't already know? If it's all maintenance tickets and the same React components you've been writing since 2021, you're atrophying. And here's why this matters more in tech than other fields. Research shows technical skills depreciate about 50% every 2.5 years. In our industry, 6 months of no learning is career debt you'll pay back later with worse opportunities and stagnant salary growth. Number 2, you're 20% or more below market rate and you've already asked for a raise with data to back it up. Here's what people miss. If you're making 80,000 and market rate is 110,000, that's not just 30,000 you're
I'm sorry, but I don't know who's here. I just want to speak for like the majority because people who aren't in that 80K starting salary, I just want to speak for you guys. If you guys are just starting out, and you guys aren't even in your field, which is a large percentage of people nowadays because the competition is fierce. But if you're not even in your field, maybe you're working food, or maybe you're working a dead end job and then coming home to program, that's fucking hard. You get what I mean? That's fucking hard. That in itself is a mental draining. So you have to one figure out a way to weed your way out of your 9 to 5 job or your dead end job that you have currently into the career you want, but don't rush it. You know what I mean? This is unfortunate unless you want to switch careers, which is a great opportunity too. But don't if you're passionate about tech, don't rush this process because you don't nowadays you don't just come out and get a tech job. You come out and you kind of just got to work your way into that field, and your first job is the one you want to keep for the year. Second job, you kind of want to start searching within that year and then start adapting to what he's saying right now. But hey, man, like that first job may be a long time coming. So just take your time, build projects. And I'm not an advocate for lying on your resume, but stretch the truth. Make sure you know how to sell yourself. That's all it is at the end of the day.
losing this year. Over 5 years with normal raises, you're leaving over 200,000 on the table because future raises compound on a lower base. Check levels.fyi, talk to recruiters, know your number. If they won't match market after you've proven your value, they're literally banking on your fear of change. Research shows job switchers earn 5 to 10% more on average than people who stay, and that compounds over your entire career. They call this the loyalty tax. 3. Your physical or mental health is declining in measurable ways. You can't sleep before work days, you're having panic attacks in the bathroom, your resting heart rate is elevated, you've gained or lost significant weight without trying. One guy I know started getting stress induced shingles at 28 years old. Your body is literally screaming at you, and no job is worth therapy bills or ER visits because you ignored the warning signs. 4. You've hit a growth ceiling that's structural, not skill based. You're doing senior level work, but they keep hiring senior devs from outside instead of promoting you. You've been almost ready for senior for 12 months. Here's the tell. If feedback is vague, like not quite there yet, but they can't tell you what specific skills you're missing, it's politics, not performance. And lastly, 5. Fundamental values misalignment. This isn't I prefer remote, but we're hybrid. It's deeper. Maybe you value code quality, but they ship broken features every sprint to hit arbitrary metrics. You value work life balance, but leadership brags about 60-hour weeks because we are a family. Organizational psychology research shows employees perform 20 to 30% better when personal values align with company values.
Yeah, I agree. And even for the people who don't have a job in the tech field, they'll rush into a bad job. You know what I mean? These tech interviews in itself is a mental drain. Like I've been through, I want to say 4 technical interviews, two being ones that I failed horrendously, one being I thought I passed but never got back to me. It's okay. And the last one, I guess, was kind of my breaking point. The company and I really don't give a fuck when I talk. So I just like transparency because a lot of people nowadays don't have that. So if you come, just enjoy the transparent. Um, they're called leverage or right leverage, whatever the fuck. They're selling financial shit. You know, I don't want to go too in depth because I don't know if I have an NDA or not. But they're selling financial shit to people in the finance industry, looking to be I guess, the TurboTax of finance using AI. And like, I get AI is in demand and the cool kid on the block, but I always advocated for Claude Code over, I guess, GPT. And they were heavy on GPT, like they had memberships. I even tried to show them why GPT didn't work. I had the technical interview, and I guess my only flaw, which I always like to say openly, is I used Claude Code for the first time in that technical interview, just for the first time, never used it before. I understand that I was a copy and paste prompter. So in the realm of making my own code, I used to copy it from the Claude, paste it in the Claude, get my response, keep doing that, look at it. But using Claude Code for the first time because I felt like if I didn't use it, I was gonna be behind. And I used it. It was very impressive. They got what they needed. It was to the point where I asked them, did you guys want me to showcase any other things for the project you had in mind? They said no. I was waiting for the third interview. They told me to schedule it. And immediately when I scheduled it, 'cause I was on it. I was trying to get the job, you know what I mean? Immediately when I scheduled it, they said they went with someone else who had better, right? They went with someone else. That's all I know. Thank you for your time. They went with someone else. And it wasn't that I was annoyed. I had a breakdown because these fucking dudes don't know shit about AI development. These fucking people are probably trying to save a buck and not pay a developer for no reason. Like, they probably didn't find anybody. And if they did, that person probably did not do a in-depth detail just like I did. You want to know how I do it? You want to know how I know? They fucking told me during the interviews that I'm the most in-depth applicant right now. Like, there's no other applicant that's coming with that type of project building mindset, this much deep. Nigga, I had a presentation for these niggas, bro. Like you get what I mean? Like I obviously I didn't give them the pitch deck, but I had a whole pitch deck presentation of how they would start their company. So like that's why when I said I'm open to sharing it, bitch, if you take anything, it will be from what you learned in my interview. So I was already turned off when they said no. I didn't really care about reaching out to them at the time, just for like a follow up as to why didn't they take me? Because I was like, yo, this is just the market now. I had the courage to do it last weekend. I just gave them some updates, checked in with them. They had no response for me. I wasn't looking for a response. I was just closing that door in the past so I can start applying to jobs again, getting back in that technical flow. Um, but for me, that one hurt. I wanted to say it on camera because I know people come here showcasing that they know everything. My last technical interview, which was my fourth one, was the one where I felt like I did the best. The reason why I felt like I did the best, it was the only interview where I felt like there was no holds barred. I was able to use AI. I was able to do what documentations I needed to do. I was able to come with a project that they gave me and showcase to them that I understand the problem that you're solving and I can get the job done. I was able to do all of that. I wasn't able to do that with any of the other interviews. All the other interviews, I was with a senior dev and they were quizzing me and I didn't know data structure and algorithm because I'm like self-taught. Um, or I'm like, and I don't advocate for cheating, but I'm like trying to get past the exam online assessment with tools, you get what I mean? Because I'm not the best, or I wasn't prepared for certain types of questions, so it's just like, fuck, dude, like that one really hurt. So picking your values and making sure that you stick with it, because even if I worked for that company that I said I felt like I did the best for, I felt like I would have had a tough time communicating with them anyways, because they just don't get it. Like they're here with the idea, but when it comes to the execution, they just don't get it. And that's just my opinion. They could feel the same way about me. I'm just letting you guys know as developers, you have to have that discernment to understand like it's not you. It could be them. It could be the market, but it's definitely not always you. As long as you know that it's not always you, you can always advocate for yourself to be the best type of developer. But yeah, the code head gave us why you should quit jobs. I felt like this was a great wraparound as to why. I gave you a little story time as to why I didn't get a job, but as to why I don't really care about it. Um, keep striving, you know. I'm making content for the mere fact that I want to keep my knowledge and everything on hand, but I'm trying to get the confidence again to apply to jobs. I don't know if I'm the only one, but I know I'm the only developer who kind of talks about it too, on YouTube without trying to make it seem like I make 100K. So AI is definitely not something I like to use all the time. I actually just use it to jot and brainstorm, but I want to get back to where I was for sure. Um, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully, the next content I bring is something that's like home base for people, maybe live streaming and doing some vibe coding itself. Who knows? But subscribe to the Code Head, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in the next one.